get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Take one. The will of God.
March 21st, 1997. History of the Prophet Joseph Smith. In 5th through 8th grade class. How anxious I am for Heavenly Father's Spirit to touch your minds and hearts. For what the Prophet Joseph Smith did.
What you talking about?
Hailing from a tiny Utah town called Short Creek,
okay.
was a cult.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints,
I knew
or
something wasn't right.
FLDS for short. Most recently run under the grasp of a man named Warren Jeffs, they operated completely under the radar for the better part of the past century.
You wouldn't
For
even know.
years, Jeffs and his predecessors maintained strict control over their members, preaching the central idea that plural marriages were not only a God-given right, but were the only way for members to access the kingdom of heaven.
Oh, what?
He was known to call himself the prophet, the only member of the church who could talk to God.
Wow.
And if God told him that you should marry someone, you wouldn't go against his will, would you?
Bro.
Wife after wife.
Bro, how do you get people's minds in these spaces to do these things, bro?
Wife after wife,
How?
the prophet would arrange to wed.
How?
Not only for the adult.
Where do they have to be at? What do they have to be doing? What mind space do they have to be in? Like, are they struggling? Did he bring food to the table? Like, bro,
Men
I
inside the
don't
church,
know, bro, because that
but
shit
most
is just the
prominently
most
for
craziest shit
himself.
to me, bro.
Tens, hundreds of
Bro,
women
he's
were used
creepy
as
as
pawns,
fuck, bro. He's
tickets that
creepy
they
as
believed
hell.
would grant them eternal salvation.
What the? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bro, these rows of 4 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rows of 4s with 12. Bro, 4 times 12, bro. Nah, that's already too much.
And, as you'd expect, their ages were never considered.
I don't know if
Inside
every row
the
got 12,
FLDS,
though.
hundreds of children were born through underage mothers, forced into arranged
What?
marriages with men upwards of 85 years of age.
Dog.
And all of them wholeheartedly believed that they were carrying out the will of God.
Sad, bro. I feel so fucking bad for those lost souls, bro. These false prophets. Shit, man. The Almighty and the higher power.
The story of the FLDS
He
is one
knows
of the
that you
darkest
know. Just
I know.
keep it in your heart,
And
chat.
they, too, have troves of media both destroyed and sealed away. We will be diving into the full story of the FLDS very soon. However, they're not fully the reason we're here tonight. In 2008, a game show premiered on Fox called The Moment of Truth. It involved contestants answering highly controversial and often abrasive questions in front of a live studio audience in exchange for an ever-growing grand prize. Prior to each episode, contestants would take a polygraph test to ensure the accuracy of their responses on stage. And
Bro, they get to
I'm sure you
asking
can see how
crazy
this could
questions.
go downhill very quickly. Answer a highly
I wouldn't
personal,
have got up on
secret
there.
question
They can ask
correctly in front of
anything
the
they
world,
want.
and the bag of cash dangling over your head grows ever more. Answer it wrong, however, and your affairs are exposed in front of thousands and are forever etched into broadcast history. In August of 2010,
Oh,
a
hell.
contestant named Melanie Williams took the stage for the show's 9th episode of its 2nd season.
Poor Melanie.
Unlike those that competed before her, however, Melanie carried with her a dark, disturbing past.
And they knew what they was doing.
Yeah.
While living in a polygamous
Look at these
community,
questions.
did you know of any underage girls who were married to adult men?
Yeah.
That answer is true.
That would have been my last one, bro.
As it turns out, Williams grew up inside the FLDS and witnessed firsthand the atrocities committed against the women and children within. To this day, Season 2, Episode 9, her debut, is completely scrubbed from existence, leaving us with only an archived trailer hinting at the inner details she revealed. Interestingly, even though Episode 9 is
Accurate
considered
squirrel,
lost,
got it.
Melanie actually returned for Episode 10, one that has been found in full. Within it, she takes the stage for a final $500,000 question, the
Wow.
grand prize of this show, and something no contestant
gave
before
it
her
back.
has ever been able to win. In the beginning, host Mark Wahlberg warns her of what she's about to be faced with, giving her an opportunity to opt out. However, after reading it and taking a moment to really let it sink in, she decides apprehensively that she's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it for my dad. I'm gonna go for it.
You're going for it?
I would be like, is you sure that you want to do, my
Are
child?
you okay?
Are you sure? You don't have to.
It's a tough question, excuse me. But it's a tough question for me. It's a tough
And
question.
the audience just nosy as hell. That's all they
Tearful and
want. They
aware
just
of what
want.
she's about to reveal. Her father questions what could possibly be causing a reaction like this.
Exactly.
She has, up to this point, aired out so much already.
Pretty
How much
sure she
more
has.
really is there?
Yes? Okay. For
This shit fucked up,
$500,000,
bro.
Melanie Williams. Question 21.
This made my stomach hurt.
Do you believe your father, as an adult, has ever had sexual relations with a minor?
This is a crazy question, bro. What? Bro, what? Bro, nah, bro. You not finna tell me that these people got this family on the show, bro, and basically probably research their life or like you have to answer how you truly feel when it comes to a lie detector thing. So she's coming off of truths, and this is something that she just feels, and probably because that she grew up around people messing with these young women around her, and she has this weird image of men, and she probably feels like her dad, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, bro got a whole, like, they wrong as hell for this show. And it's triggering me.
That answer is
And she mouthed, I'm so sorry.
true.
And the audience just applauding. For 500,000, they rubbing his back.
Erupts as Melanie
Man, I
says,
would've whooped they ass.
shocked at what she just
Y'all
unveiled
set this
to the
up.
world. Her father, equally stunned. And it all culminates in one of the strangest, most dystopian
Just leave,
moments
bro.
that I have ever
I
seen
hope they leave. Just
on
leave.
broadcast television. As the family embraces, Wahlberg questions her father about this illegal relationship.
See, no,
to
you
which
fucking
he
know.
completely downplays it.
All the time.
As part of that culture.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Let's hear what
Yeah.
John has feels of that.
Gosh. I'm not sure when I did this, I knew what a minor was. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Wife number 2 was 17. She had just,
Man, he didn't have to
Just got
tell,
out
bro.
of-
He could have just said, "Yeah, bro." You didn't have to. You didn't have to tell all that, dog. You didn't have to, bro. I mean, shit, it's wrong as fuck now, cause that's a minor, bro. Like, that's some crazy ass shit at the same time, like. But you could say he was in a cult, brainwashed, and bro, I don't listen, man. I ain't getting into all that. But what I'm saying is the show wrong for this, and he wrong for what he did in the past. Simple. You know, ain't nobody right. Ain't nobody right. And it gotta be like that sometimes, bro. Nobody can be right. Because, bro,
In January
That's
of
some crazy
2011,
shit, bro.
over 4
That's
months
actually
after
insane
this
to me.
episode aired,
I can't even
Melanie
believe
Williams
that.
took to her personal blog to clear up any
shit made my
speculation
stomach hurt.
about her time on the show.
The way that
Within a post
it was
made on
just
January
tense.
7th, she claims that her father had actually lied that night, that the girl wasn't 17 like he claimed.
Oh, don't tell me she was younger.
In reality, she was 14,
Oh.
and her name was Joy.
Oh my gosh.
As far as it's
Oh
known,
my
her father has neither
gosh.
been investigated nor charged since this aired, and there's been no further updates from Melanie herself. Even
Oh
so,
my
this
gosh.
broadcast is one of the strangest that I have ever watched, and I wouldn't be surprised if it contributed to the Moment of Truth's cancellation.
Exactly, cause like,
Regardless of whether Season 2, Episode 9 is
bro,
ever found,
that's embarrassing.
Melanie
people,
Williams
like,
successfully exposed the illegal atrocities committed by
Yeah,
one of the
I
world's
mean-
darkest cults in front of thousands. A cult that has done everything in its power to keep its depraved history a secret. And a cult, the FLDS, who manipulated
even
and
wanna keep
abused
looking at
women
that
and
picture,
children
you feel
for
me?
over a century.
We don't take no
All
negative energy over
veiled
here. God, please push all that
under the
negative
will
energy
of
away.
God.
Amen. We rebuke that negative energy, bro. Cause we don't know what you talking about over there in that cult church you got going on.
We'll return after these messages.
Alright guys, before we continue, I'd like to tell you about tonight's video sponsor, Saley.
W. Saley, man. Saley is fire. The rot in there. Uh-oh. What's wrong with all these old TV shows, bro? Oh, I thought it was about to be another old TV show.
It's October 1999. Residents on the south end of Fort Worth, Texas, notice a certain smell lingering in the air. It's repugnant, nauseating, a pungent, pervasive odor of rot. The stench is inescapable,
Ugh.
rapidly enveloping parks, homes, and businesses. Something in the area is festering, and it's carrying an inescapable wave of what can only be described as the smell of deteriorating flesh. Disgusted and worried, residents in the area contact authorities in the hopes that anyone can figure out what the hell is going on. This odor has come up so quickly. So where in the world is it coming from?
Check out this week's Green Price specials on all flavors of Jell-O frozen pudding pops.
The sweetness of the grapes. At Ralph's, you expect this kind of quantity. One is...
It's like my mother always told me, get what you want. But get it at Wallbounds.
I know how good my quality meats taste.
Yo.
You have to see how good Wallbounds prices look.
Oh. It's about to be something bad. What's these videos?
Resting at the corner of Hemphill and West Fogg Street in Fort Worth, Texas, sits an abandoned building. A grocery store called the Mexia Supermarket. Known to have been owned by a family from Laos, it served the surrounding neighborhood for years. But here,
Oh my.
they were nowhere to be found. Their store is rotting, their home vacant, and it's like they up and left, leaving the only remnants of their existence. A neighborhood suffering from an inescapable smell, and
They
a
done
grocery
did
store
something.
that's festering right under its own weight.
They done did something. They ain't just disappeared like that. I'm telling you.
Inside,
And then that bitch
rotting
look creepy
deli
as hell.
and meat discolored as bacteria consumed it. Produce began to wither and emit hazardous gas. frozen goods and
whole
milk
store
exploded due to an
A whole store
uncontrolled
rotting?
fermentation
Yeah, I could
inside
see
them.
that spreading across
And
the
the air
town.
inside, unbreathable, as the oxygen was completely depleted.
Oh my
As you'd
gosh.
expect, the building, by the time it was found, was in a state of complete disrepair, as maggots, roaches, rats, and thousands of flies had nested in its
Dang.
crevices. The scene, unreal. And all of this,
Honestly, man, like a whole store rotting is. How does that like? They couldn't have been paying the electric bill. Like that's what it had to be. They couldn't pay the electric bill.
was the product of a building left to decay for nearly 3 months.
Did gaming take over your life? You're not alone, and it might not be your fault. The makers of games like Fortnite, Roblox,
In the following days, the Fort Worth Health Department officially declared the site as a health hazard, sparking a massive cleanup operation. But as they assessed the building, they realized that it would prove far more complicated than initially imagined. Because of the live rodents, millions of insects, and the buildup of hazardous gas, demolishing or burning the building down wasn't possible, as everything within it would simply migrate to the neighboring homes. And so, instead, a crew was hired to clean it by hand. Decked out in hazmat suits and oxygen tanks, they were tasked with bagging and removing the rotten food, disinfecting every surface inside, and fumigating the premises, all while navigating through the millions of insects surrounding them. Reportedly, the initial scene was so infested with flies that cleanup crews couldn't even see more than a few feet in front of them.
What
The cleanup
happened in their
efforts took
store?
nearly a month to complete, and by December, the building stood completely empty, yet still carrying a lingering odor of rot. Years later, it was eventually bought out and rebranded as a store called Terry's. However, according to a review left on Google, nearly 14 years after Mexia, the place,
Damn.
even still, reportedly smelled like death.
Holding on to that, bro. I
All
wouldn't
of the
even
footage
bought
you've
that.
seen so
I
far
can't lie.
has been taken from a 2010 History Channel documentary called Life After People. And while it gives us an inside look at the conditions there,
Life
it's
After
merely a small piece of this story. As it turns out,
Crazy name.
tons of news coverage was taken, showcasing both the interior and exterior
Why
of the
are the
building
flames
before the
dropping
cleanup
like that,
operation
bro?
began.
It's killing me.
However, as of now, it stands completely inaccessible. According to an online user named The Hookup, the news coverage of Mexia depicted a scene so repulsive that the windows appeared blackened due to the millions of roaches and flies covering them. I did have dreams about this one neighborhood in Fort Worth that was due to a news story at the time. A supermarket in this one low-income area of town just closed one day. The images on the news are what gave me bad dreams. Windows blackened by millions of roaches, rats in swarms. The smell had to be apocalyptic.
What?
2-month-old fish, 2-month-old carrots, pork, thousands upon thousands of rat droppings.
Oh my god.
I was obsessed with the story, hence why I dreamt about it.
I'm not a
It still freaks me out.
being in there. What you mean? Being in there? Oh, he dreamed about being in there. Oh, I was about to say. Hello, I had to fix that.
To this day, this
I knew what I
1 minute
did
video
wrong. I
is
forgot,
the
right?
only known footage in existence depicting the absolute nightmare left behind inside Mexia supermarket. And as we've seen, while evidence of other archives are out there, they have seemingly been buried in the void of broadcast history. With attention to it growing day by day, perhaps someday more footage about this will emerge. However, as of now, this is all we have. and it just might stay that way for years to come.
Dirty ass store, bro.